Another dominant performance from Avant Gaming, able to pick up a pretty decisive win against Mammoth there, Rusty, who seem to just be relying on a level 16 Kale, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, we were having the conversation a little bit jokingly, but actually surprisingly serious about it being a Kale comp, where you're playing your TFT games, you've rolled the best you can, you've found nothing, no comps working, so you're relying on just getting that 3-star Kale. And unfortunately, AV just proved to be a little bit too good as a team, and they got too far ahead elsewhere on the map as well for that to matter. So they're able to clean up the victory, AV. Lisa, I have to say, once again, looking like a very good jungler coming into his own.
Yep, and I have to agree with you, right? But it's also one of those things where I think some teams are putting a really big emphasis on getting priority jungle matchups for their junglers, and then that moves into punishing enemy teams, right? What priority did this set have in the game? I don't think I saw set do anything proactive in this game, and that may not necessarily be Baz's fault. It is the cards that were drawn per se, if you want to talk about Twisted Fate as well, not able to utilize an ultimate at level 6 to influence anywhere on the map. And it was just really good, concise team play from AV, right? They have a set play in mind. They want to transition their pressure into bot lane, put the Kalista behind, and there was just never a window back into the game for Mammoth.
I think
But Jubes, I do want to hit the draft, sorry, because this really annoyed me in draft, right? So they open up with the Graves pick, and you just take Kalista set off the bat.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a really strong lane. And then if they pick Nautilus into that lane, they've counter-picked themselves.
Yeah. I was
Set
surprised.
beats Nautilus.
Yes, I was very surprised because...
So why is Set jungling, Jubes?
Well, there's one matchup I refuse to play when it comes to solo queue, right? If I have Set or if I have Graves and someone locks Set in, I'm praying it's Set in the jungle. Because the matchup is just like, I have all the freedom in the world. He can never rip me back. He can never punch me. The only thing he can do is hit me with his shield, and by then I've won the skirmish. So for me, I don't know if it's players not actually knowing their individual matchups well enough, but this week, what it said to me is I would be taking a long, hard look at draft because I don't like blaming draft too much for losses, but it feels like when you're drafting such negative matchups, you're just behind the 8 ball and you're relying on more than skill.
Yeah, there's so many things to this, right? I think it's even beyond just their draft. I think they've started to lose cohesion as a team through the picks that they're playing, and it's also noted through their gameplay, right? Like, we didn't see the Twisted Fate play for the composition.
Yeah.
We saw an early lock of a TF blind, and it just played for himself. We saw the Kale as like the one win condition on the red side, which is fine if they're going to last rotate that, but that should be the one thing that you have. And I feel like we've just watched them slowly start to pick for their lanes and for themselves and lose everything else that really brings that back together with compositions.
And on the flip side, it looks like Avant now are more than just a Chad show, right? We were talking about the fact that Lisa stepped up. Paprise had a pretty good game on the weak side, only fell down once, and you have to say that both iterations of their bottom lanes are looking fine to good at the moment, not having many poor games. So this Avant Gaming lineup starting to ramp up, it feels like, Juice.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, we're seeing the evolution of them, right? So, week 1 to 3, it's okay to play the game one way, play through your strongest member, and whether that's Chaz, whoever it is, that's okay. But you need to, as weeks go on, add flavor to that team, right? You need to add a bot lane that you can play through your bot lane, transition them around the map, because what we saw from AV that was really good at 8 minutes, flipped to Rift Herald, had tempo in that lane, got Rift, broke top tower. So it wasn't like, oh, let's play through mid, get Chaz a roam mid, and then we'll just win the game through him. So we are seeing different avenues of success for Avant, and this, for me, is scary for a lot of teams.
Certainly is going to be the case. However, guys, we're going to jump straight back in to the spawn bag. I hope we're not doing credits again. This one is from Bev, and it's who's got the worst hair?
General statement?
I don't know.
Who's got the worst hair at the OPL?
Is it in the cast? Because I'm going to put my hand up and say, if it is the cast, it is me. Because I have
that makes me feel
a
bad.
lack of any hair.
Dude, that makes me feel bad.
Look, man, it's literally...
You've got the best beard in the OPL.
That's true.
It's starting to thin.
Okay.
But too much testosterone.
If you had to say who has the worst hair historically in the OPL, and I'm going to call this person out because I was participating in Twitch chat before and it reminded me, it's got to be a Nero.
Noodle head and
Yeah, it's got to be a Nero.
Noodle cup and arrow.
If you don't know who a Nero is, follow him on social media, but also more importantly, check out his hair. I love a Nero to death, but what do you guys think?
Do you know who else had really bad hair or lack of hair for a brief moment, Rusty? and he normally sports such good hair.
Is it? Yeah.
The laplasm.
Yeah,
what
I knew-
did laplasm
yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Dude, he's growing it out. This may be the first time in the many years of knowing him, and I think he's had no choice because everything shut down, that he's actually grown his hair out. Because every year he would come into the office and be like, I'm getting an afro. I want an afro. And 2 weeks in, he's like, it's gone. Shaved. Clean shaved. Just bald now. He cannot control himself.
And he does it himself. I've seen Raz so many times where like he takes a picture of himself in like the bathroom, and then next second he's taking another selfie and he's just like shaved his own hair. He's a very confusing man. Okay. Next one. Avistis. Avistiff? Avistiff. Avistiff. AV...
Oh, don't say it.
Avistiff.
Avistis. Why do they call it Macca's?
Well, okay. In Australia, we're very efficient with our word usage. Okay? You know, we don't like beating around no bush. If we can get to A to B in the shortest time possible, we'll do that. So when you have McDonald's, it's very easy to abbreviate it to Macca's.
Yeah, we ain't here to make love to arachnids, are we, Rusty?
What
We're
does
not
that
here to
mean?
put boots
I
on
don't-
caterpillars, Spawn. You're not
Not
wrong.
here to make
Oh,
put
no,
boots on
make
caterpillars. Not here to make love to arachnids. We just say things short, sharp, and to the point.
Yo,
And it's Macca's. See, other people do the opposite thing, Juice, where they make everything really long.
why would you
Like-
do that?
Yeah, correct. I don't understand it either.
You know, like, can we go to Baron? Yeah, we'll go Bazza.
Yeah,
Bazza's on. You know?
Baz
then
is on, yeah.
You hear, when you see Europe, they're like, but can we go Nash? But it's just like, Bazza.
So Nash is good though. I
Yeah,
ship
all right,
Nash because
is a good
it's
one, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jim's
it's
just
taking
wanted
like
to
a
do
quarter
his
of an
accent.
Yeah, I
hour.
like my accent. I like
He
it.
actually just wanted to do the accent.
Okay.
Okay, next one from In Search of Shoe. I've recently found out some people only own one pair of shoes, and I am confused. Please explain how you can only have one pair of shoes. The second bit went capital letters, so I feel like I had to yell. But
That's fair.
No, if you have one pair of shoes, that stinks. I don't care what
Yeah.
anyone says.
No, you're right. I mean,
how many pairs of shoes in your rotation, gentlemen? How many pairs of shoes have you got?
I think I'm gonna say easy 10, but I'm a sneakerhead.
at least 6.
Yeah, I'm a sneakerhead, so probably not the best example.
Because
Yeah,
the thing
it's not-
is, like, it's too much effort a lot of the time to have to wash your shoes constantly, unless
Yeah.
they get dirty on the outside, and you
But-
just like you can avoid the stink on the inside so easily by having more than one pair.
Look, I'll be honest. I'm going to open up on broadcast right now. I do have sweaty feet sometimes. And so I have like this powder thing where you just put it in your shoe and then the shoe doesn't stink after wearing. And so maybe the people with one pair of shoes just consistently powder their shoes.
Yeah, but then when does it stop being a shoe and just become a talcum powder container? That's my question.
Just no one's gonna have an answer to that.
Nah, like,
I'd love to know when.
I mean, dude, if you have one pair of shoes, just get another one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of the shoes make the outfit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And so,
So
yeah.
you dress top down.
And I also,
Yeah.
there was like a beauty blogger guy I was listening to, and he said that your t-shirt should match your shoes. So you could do like black shoes, black t-shirt, white shoes, white t-shirt, and your pants can be different, and it's a nice transition. So you need like at least 6 shoes if you got 6 outfits.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a big fan of sneakers, and I would encourage everyone to pick up a pair. Okay, next one is from Zane445, or Xane, or Schwain445. I don't know, how do you say that?
I'd say
I'd say
Zane.
Zane.
Yeah,
Zane.
Zane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Zane as well. That's what I said first time. But I just wanted to cover all the bases, guys.
Jeez,
I don't
this
want to
one-
offend anyone.
Before you ask this question, Jake, can I just say I don't want to get terms of service?
Yeah, okay, I can agree. So you have no context. How long is too long? So I want to tell a story because my mind always goes to one thing when I get asked this. And there is a hot dog place in Chapel Street, Paran Jews. You probably know Chapel
Yeah.
Street. And it's called Massive Wiener.
Yeah.
And-
yeah, this is terms of service. I'm going to leave now.
But there is a 24-inch hot dog.
Yes.
And if you eat this 24-inch hot dog without ripping, stripping, or dunking in under 5 minutes, you get put on the Wall of Fame. Why
Fame?
can you guys not? Yeah, Wall of Fame. If you eat this 24-inch hot dog with no ripping, stripping, or dunking, so you just have to eat it like a hot dog.
Yeah.
24 inches is too long for a hot dog.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
with
all
you.
I'm gonna say.
Okay, I agree with you.
I think, I'm willing
agree.
to agree that 24 inches is too long.
Now I got another one.
Yep.
When you order food and it says delivery by a certain time, it is not acceptable to go over that time, and that's too long.
I agree, actually. I had one the other day where it went over that time, and then I called them, and they hadn't even received my order,
Nah, that's
despite
too
the
long.
fact that it said they were preparing my order.
Also, you know what else is too long? My nose. And for context, that's my nose. That's just too long. But also, you know, where my people are from, we have big noses.
All the better to smell you with, my dear. All right, last one. From Barry Tuxworth. What was the one thing you think you got to where you are today, career-wise? I have flubbed this question so much. What was the one thing you think got you to where you are today, career-wise? Obviously, for me, it is not speaking. Someone else take this question.
Jeez, what was it
Rusty.
for you, mate?
I think it was for me was that I was never good at League of Legends, so I had to be good at something else. And then I decided I should just have a personality. And then if I have a personality, then for sure I could just carry off the back of someone else's good gameplay. And so that's what I did.
I figured it'd be hitting Smites versus Levi.
Nah, dude, whatever.
The one thing
happens.
that got me to where I was today was probably a determination to prove my parents wrong.
Oh,
I think that was the biggest thing. Because that was you can't do this. And I was like, you can't tell me what to do. Now I'm doing it. That was like, without that feeling, I'm an Essendon supporter, and my whole family goes for Collingwood. I'm so
Yeah, that's a
against
hard
them,
life.
and they told me not to do it, so here I am.
there you go.
One morning, I caught the reflection of myself in the curve of a spoon. And I just thought to myself, wow, I'm really, really good looking. And that's my story. And if you guys don't get that reference, we can no longer be friends. However, guys, we are about to get into the next match. It's going to be Order versus Gravitas. But before we get there, I have to remind you about a competition our good friends at NeoSurf are running. Thanks to NeoSurf, you can be a part of the OPL opening video and win yourself a $500 NeoSurf voucher to use in the League of Legends store. Take a video of yourself joining the call, following OPL and NeoSurf Esports on Twitter, and then share it using the hashtag NeoSurfWin. Got until week 6 to get your entries in, and we'll be judging them, so get creative. Full terms and conditions are on watch.lesports.com, and while the first prize is a $500 NeoSurf voucher, we'll award 5 runners-up $100 each for use in the League of Legends store. So a big thank you to our partner NeoSurf, the only solution that lets you pay in cash online to thousands of websites, including League of Legends. Guys, don't go anywhere. After the break, a must-win game for Order as they take on Gravitas in the Macca's Champ Select.
Yeah, we had a big meeting this morning based off like the loss against Avant, and I just think Spawn has a good mindset of like wanting us to just be more angry, not sad.
I don't feel the pressure in the sense that like, oh, we need to perform, but more so like we've had X amount of weeks to get in my mind to like an imaginary level that I'm like, okay, we're at this level now. And I don't think we're at that level, so it's just not good enough. Shake it better.
It's truly only a matter of time before we get back to our form, and like I think we've shown we're very good players. It's just we need to think about the game more.
It is a meme because it happens so often, like we go 1-1. We want a 2-0, I'm not sure what to say, like there's no joke. It's over.
We've just had a comment in the chat from a moderator, and I want to set the slate clean here that Toast with cheese, cold cheese, is legit. There is no way that is not legit, and if you haven't tried it, you have to try it. That's all I'm saying. We come into this tomorrow, and you'll tell me it's good. Just trust me and try it. I'm with Swiper. That's it. I just wanted to air that one. You're good to go.
That's the intro?
Yep.
Okay. Gravitas taking on order. It's game number 3 here in day 2 of week 4 for the OPL. Gravitas. I'd like to see them go back to basics. They drafted a composition that was about empowering Puma, double support. They took Suman and Praelis off carries. Wasn't a fan, quite honestly. Suman was the Karma. Did not look as comfortable as we've seen them in terms of what's found success for them in the past. And they're going to need success up against the strong strength of Order, which, if we talk about the likes of Angry Gaming, I'm sure they're pretty angry after yesterday. The amount of CC that Direwolves drafted into them. We in jest talk about, not being able to play the game, but there were situations where CC'd is all they saw on their dev screen.
We have a very different game today, though, Skimmy, if you're comparing what we saw to yesterday. Gravitas, I agree with you. I would like to see something different for Suman in particular. I think we do have the makings of that already. Like, that's an insta-lock of the Akali, and we have it on.
That's his best champion.
One, that's very different. Two, you look at Order's side, they've just straight up locked in the Nidalee. It was said yesterday from Direwolves that they expect only to just be a tank player. We saw the Trundle. Now we've got a Nidalee literally first picked from them, blind to their opponents. They have thrown the gauntlet in how they want to play this game out. And I think that we're going to see that, mediocre amount of engage, but a lot of poke, a lot of sustain, a lot of individual carry capabilities.
Certainly are. And it's been almost a day, or almost, I want to say it's like a weekend of disrespect to certain individuals and what they're renowned for, right? We've seen so many pocket picks that have just been left to slip through the draft, and I just found an insane amount of value as a result. So I'm curious to see if this is what Gravitas need to bounce back to the form that we saw only weeks prior. But we're going to open this one up, as you say, with the opening of the Nidalee, which for me is quite interesting. We see it usually as a response to the Tron level. That banned away. Maybe a slightly different variation that only is focusing on.
Yeah, perhaps. And of course, it was them that chose to take that ban, right? So they're banning things away from Praelis. Looking forward to seeing where he's going to choose to go with his pick in particular. We're looking towards the second ban phase now. And we are taking away a lot of the enchanting support. So Yuumi is actually still up and available, and I wonder if that's going to be something that is contested here, and that Order may want to pick for themselves, right, as they get the first rotation out of this one. I could see that working nicely. Well, very curious to see exactly where they choose to take this one, though.
And you can see, obviously, there's so many great targets already at this early stage in the draft for the Yuumi to couple with, if you think on either side of the team, right? Obviously, Empowers to start off with their AD carries, but the likes of an Akali or a Silas with a Yuumi attached as well would spell doom and disaster, but it's going to be Swiper. He's going to go for the Kled.
Yeah, he's gone for one of the signature picks. He's got the Kled in there, knows his matchup as well, presumably into the Ornn. However, Kled is very good into Akali. So it doesn't necessarily matter if they try and switch their lanes up. I think Swiper said, I'm going to have a field day. Give me the matchups that I want. And I have no doubt that Hayri feels the exact same way. We could even see them swap lanes, right? We could actually see them put the Silas in top lane into the Ornn. Take that matchup. That's something that we've seen elsewhere. Gravitas on the other side here. They've gone for the champion that I mentioned before. The Lulu, the Karma are banned. They push them towards the Yuumi. Maybe intentional here from Order with their 4th pick of the Kled, because they have saved their support option to last to counter.
I wonder though, Rusty, I mean, what Gravitas have got here feels very Order-esque. We've seen them run compositions like this before, where they have a hard carry and they have, date your mind back, right, when Only was the one playing the Olaf, they had the Yuumi on the head, they were forcing fights like 3v1 and just coming out ahead. It's absolutely insane. So I wonder what this means. Obviously, Order will be quite familiar with what they're going up against, but they found some unique picks to try and tackle that. The Bar going to be a nice little addition here to go roaming and try and find success and say, look, bot lane's going to be a battle of the carries, a battle of the enchanters, but if I can try and find success in gank with the likes of a Nidalee, we can try and shut down this Akali very early on.
Yeah, a lot of it's actually about moving fast and being active around the rift when I look at Order's comp, right? They've got the Bard that can disappear up the river. They've got a Nidalee that wants to try and control the tempo of the jungle if they can, particularly finish your jungle item. Just accelerate the pace of your clear consistently with each clear that you take. And Swiper can do a similar thing. Now, I'm not going to say that he will 100% do it this game, because he has changed the way that he plays League a lot this year. But if he's going to find an opportunity to leave his lane ult mid, 100% will do it. Loves to be able to play for his team with this Kled, get the ult going and have them all follow him. And he is one of the 2 major sources of engage that they've got here, Order. So I'm a big fan of what they've actually put together for themselves into Gravitas.
And it screams to me that Order want to showcase that there's a gap between both teams from a fundamental understanding of macro, right? Just overwhelming them with quicker rotations. You'd like to see that then transition to maybe being the first one to find priority in a lane, the first one to an objective to set up, and then try and force Gravitas' response and say, look, you can't play into what you've designed and designated yourself towards. I'm interested really to, first of all, what the Akali actually represents in this game, because I'm pretty sure when Sumin busted into the scene, showcased it once, and just absolutely slapped people with it, people thought, what on earth is this, right? And it started to get permabanned as a denial in particular to him. But then what can they look to try and bridge the gap with sort of elsewhere on the map?
Yeah, the Sumins in particular playing the not Karma role, being much more of a carry than less than a facilitator is something that I think will be a standout in this game if he's able to find his advantages like you highlight when we've seen him play the Akali before. It's entirely possible that he could run away with this game, but he is playing into a couple of champions that can deal with him decently well, like the Kled can handle him in the laning phase. Sylas, when he gets Akali ultimates, they're both just going to be dashing around everywhere like some kind of hectic ninja anime. You never really know what you're going to get with those two. So a lot of this is about finding the leads and translating that into further advantages. And I think if Gravitas do get those early leads, they could run away with this game pretty successfully. Not to mention they have the Yuumi and the Olaf that can work together. So if one of them gets ahead, it's gross.
They could run away and, as you say, set up themselves for a season finale, more anime. More entertainment, more views as we jump into game number 3 of the night with Gravitas on the left and Order on the right. And they've definitely got conflicting styles here. I said before that Gravitas have taken a bit of a note out of what Order have used in the past with this composition set around empowering bruisers and making sure that they are strong for that mid-game to try and contest the likes of these objectives. Order, no slouch in that department, obviously got a ton of rotational advantages on their end. And, the current form that Ayla's in, they deny away his fresh in the banning phase. Yep. Still going to have the comfort of the Bard as well.
Well, his Bard looked great, So I think it's fair to try and deny a Thresh away from him, perhaps, with how well he played it last time. Rogue, another one of the players in support that you'd be pretty comfortable saying we could consider banning the Thresh from these particular people. But the last time we saw Order play Bard, it was a victory. Ayla looked fantastic. He was working well with the rest of his team, and it seemed very comfortable. The only difference, really, between the picks is that this one has a little bit more room for error in the way that you could affect your own team, right? If your ultimate hits an ally or just misses completely, it can really disrupt a lot of teamfight flow. And Kled is one of those very simple champions who can only go one direction to be successful, and that's forwards. So need to be very careful with how they're using their spells individually. There is a lot to consider here.
Certainly is, and as you can see, Kled here will have Grievous Wounds built into that kit, so right out the gate, it's already a denial towards the insane amount of sustain that the likes of a Yuumi can bring to the table. Not going to be as reliant, but no doubt going to still be itemizing towards the likes of, Bramble Vest, Morello's, and the Executions to make sure that they can really invalidate their pick.
So the expectations that I would have at the moment for Gravitas is just to continue to steady state this game for as long as they can. Just farm, survive. They're going to cop a beating in top lane, FYI, this early in. So as I say that, there's a bit of a biff. Also, Only's invading. We'll hold the thought for the moment, see how this plays.
So much early priority here found by Order, and that's going to allow them to pick up the red buff. Now Prelus with the spot of Bobby, he's going to be forced to flash away. Not going to be enough though, he's going to fall on down despite Yuumi giving him the heal. Puma's going to jump across, he's got the life leech with that dagger, but will it be enough? It's only level 2 Rusty, and that Nidalee has double buff. Very strong in their numbers advantage, but that's going to be a rotation now by Sumin, looking to try and make a fight work in their favor. That's not without Harry joining the fight too now. Quaku teleports down. It's going to be an all-out Fiesta. Only 3 minutes onto this game. As soon as they respawn,
oh my god, Swiper's teleported.
Swiper wants to join this fight. What on earth is happening? That's the second kill now for Order. And 3 minutes in, they just break this game straight open. And we talk about pressure. They've got it.
And they're just going to... Harry's going to teleport back to mid lane. I mean, there's a world where you actually keep Swiper mid and you teleport Harry to top. Maybe to push that wave in, because it's going to sit in a pretty good position for Quaku. That was chaos. Absolute chaos this early in. But it was Order that were forcing that into Gravitas. They try and match it, they try and answer, but they don't have the numbers. They're not there in time. Very early Ignite goes down onto Prelus as well, so his usefulness in that fight disappeared very quickly. But they also hit their spells to make sure those kills happen. So fantastic stuff there from Order. Find themselves 2-0.
Already answering one of the questions from what we saw yesterday as to Both Praelis and Suman being big driving forces on this team to find success. As we've seen, Quaker hasn't found that form that made him a rising star in split number 1, and Puma's trying to return to that grace as well. 2 games that weren't that convincing on the likes of a Syndra in the AD carry role, and a comp built around him yesterday did not allow them to take the victory over Mammoth. So already shutting down these 2 components, these catalysts for Gravitas. It's signs of life, and you know, level 6 comes online, things get a little bit more scary.
So it's going to be a bit of a weird transition now to talk back towards Gravitas' win conditions, because the one thing I said before that all happened was a steady state would be nice.
Yeah.
So what they've got an Aphelios who's going to scale fantastically, right? They've got the Ornn that'll be able to give the items to him as well. So that starts to ramp up brilliantly. And Akali, especially at the 1-item power spike, will start to put himself in side lanes and can have that presence there. And then Yuumi working with the Aphelios, working with the Olaf that exists here as well, starts to become incredibly dangerous after they hit those 1-item spikes and beyond. But you want to go into those at least even, right? Now that it's started a little bit the other way, you can lose control of the map against a lot of the individual prowess that exists, such as a Bard stun, if they're able to get this kill as well, that exists in the order composition, right? They've got the ability to leave their lanes if they get fed, if they get ahead, and we've got a 2-0-1 Ezreal running around that's going to have some big items. And so now they start to get control of the map, and this game becomes so much more volatile for your blue side.
Certainly is. Very hard is it for Yuumi to escape a situation like that. As soon as they get CC'd, unable to couple to their teammate for another 5 seconds, and obviously they don't take flash, nor do they run the boots, so very immobile unless they are with an ally nearby. And this is a fantastic start for Order here to allow their Ezreal to hit that 2-item spike, cheaper build, and really get the ball rolling, and then be able to skill shot from afar and shut down the Puma train. As Swiper is in a whole host of trouble as the minions were just slapping him from afar. 1 auto and he would transform again. He's going to flash away, not taking any chances here, Rusty.
That was a game of chicken. I'm not sure if that Q would have connected, but better safe than sorry. You don't want to give the kills over. Swiper finds himself in a very awkward predicament in top lane. And this comes back to the teleport that I was discussing before. You know, that's a big CS difference between the Ornn and the Kled. And a lot of that was due to the teleport that Swiper took into the bottom lane, when he was a dismounted Kled who ultimately provided nothing to that fight as well. So even if he was there just to provide some extra safety and maybe force a dive, that backfires in top lane huge, and Quaku in a good position.
Certainly is, and that's what he's going to be banking on right now. The steady hand as Yuhada to being Gravitas' win condition here to find themselves coasting in to the level 13 mark when those ornaments start to become a talking point for them to play around. Obviously some items that they'll be no doubt keen to evolve for their team, but the state of it with Puma down at this stage. Will he reach that item spike anytime soon? Suman's going to showcase his proficiency on this champion, and just 2v1's Order. Fearless and true disrespect.
Absolute confidence as well, you know, throws the ultimate out the second he sees it, knows the limits of his champion, knows the damage that he has, and just like clockwork, man, he handles only and makes that look like just another day in the office.
Certainly will be another day in the office for them as they continue the aggression down bot side, and now going to find a nice little healthy trade for them to stabilize things there. Despite the CS being obviously the same, it will be rare, quite far accelerated here. That's an option for the machine, but it's just looking to stack up the tier instead.
Yeah, Rez in a good spot. You know, the bottom side of the map is good. Is pretty consistent through mid as well for Order, which is going to be nice for opening up Drake control. They've already got their first Drake of the game. My concerns start to crop up around the top side of the Rift if Quaku continues to find himself staying ahead. Kled is notoriously, you know, he's pretty average as a champion until that first big item. Even a half item component comes online. So if it's a Tiamat, then that. If it's a Phage, you know, for being able to have some extra staying power, then it's the Phage. So until that point, tends to lose lane, but lost a little bit harder than perhaps you would otherwise like, particularly in the experience front, where Ornn can handle him. So a bit more lane priority is available wherever the Ornn goes. However, we've flipped the map.
Certainly have, and this is what we were to expect out here from Order, given the amount of mobility they have built themselves with. They're going to be the first ones to the Herald. They've got already the first dragon to the name as well. And they will be the ones commanding that lead so far. Suman drops down the smoke screen. Has the protection of Praelis via their own blue buff as well. Going to zone them away and make sure that there is no need for a contest to take place here, and look to try and achieve as many plates with this Herald deployment.
We'll see what they choose to go towards as well. And if it is going to just be like a top lane out of turret, given that that's where their bottom lane is. You know, that's the place that is ahead. So if you can break one of the side lane structures, you can really open up this map.
Yeah.
Most likely the place that you would expect it to go. You can try and play around the fact that neither top laner has teleport for the current moment. Hang on, he's going again.
He's just looking for time and time again. Flash away, smoke screen goes down, takes 2 turret shots. It's not going to be enough because the shurikens from afar will do the damage. We talk about shurikens, let's talk about chakrams, because they do damage as well. And the max range missile connects and beats. Well, he makes up for what happened in the laning phase.
That was almost a comedy of little mistakes there, unfortunately, for Order. You know, a nice solo kill in mid lane, all credits to Human, but Rare just flashed over his Bard heal and died to an airy proc from Beats on the Yubi. Like, you'd have to say he would have lived if he didn't flash over it, but he might have died if he didn't flash, you know? So it's a really unfortunate situation to find himself in. But he goes down, and suddenly, bottom lane for Gravitas looking a little bit better.
Certainly is. Hard one to quantify, as you say there, but definitely what Puma was looking to achieve. Catch up and make sure that if Rare is finding turret plates, if they are showing him the attention with that Herald deployment, that they keep the distance between these item builds not too far away, in with a fighting chance, but they're going to once again target Quaku. A 3-man collapse here. They'll dash away for the meantime. Flash as well. Summoner's having to be burnt. Does have the teleport, however. I'm not sure if that's going to stop Order as they continue to be omnipresent around this side of the map.
Yeah, while he has the teleport, there is also the Herald that can be summoned by Order, so they probably don't leave the area. They should continue to threaten this structure for some turret plates. We'll see how they choose to play this one out, because ideally, as is standard, you don't summon the Herald early, you try and get plates first. Preylis already here, and the teleport being available, though, does kind of limit the opportunities that exist for Order. You'd expect even baiting out the teleport would be a win. I think only Rare really had that in his mind at the moment, but late summon means no use from that Herald right now. Maybe against the charge because they're flashing.
They certainly are. They're going to full force this one. Tipper Fate goes on down to try and buy some time and make sure that Ragnarok can expire. Maybe a turnaround. Rare gets out with his life, but one final snipe for Order will do the damage. Swiper once again going to teleport in as both Bruiser shot for this fight. Call of the Forge God. The Tether will break, but the ultimate will land. 3 people knocked on up. A headbutt as well dismounts him, but he has no backline access as his team are far too zoned away.
Yeah, both top laners coming into the mix, but it's a too little too late type of situation. Swiper, he'll get the reset off eventually and should be able to still have that Kled ultimate, but they're sticking around because Gravitas have started up the Drake. I'm not sure if contesting this one's particularly wise. We'll see how they play though.
True Shot was there to scout out information. Harry late on the rotation, but now would they look for a fight as a result of the Dragon falling on down. They've got definitely the damage, they've definitely got the mobility as well. And it's going to do a flash, Cosmic Binding. Okay, that's one. Now can they find a second? The spear will connect, but Harry zones himself away, receives the exhaust, but it's a double kill regardless. They are safari hunting, and they are showcasing why this Nidalee was a first pick for them. It might not be done just yet, because Rare wants to continue to be the montage player.
They chase now.
They definitely have the ability to chase on down. 2 members low, spear connects, now 3. Can they go for the full 5-man ace? They're searching for it with skill shots, but far too protected as Nidalee still hunts.
Yeah, and that was a fantastic flash stun from Ayla, above all else, on the Bard. Hits them, locks them down, and suddenly they are able to continue to push forwards. And once again, Rare, knowing that he has to play super aggressively. We didn't see that, E, don't worry. You didn't try and get over the wall, bud. It's all good. But he's able to push forwards and get those kills, right? So it's again, this is very good from Order trying to flash forwards and secure their kills on the disengage of Gravitas. Gravitas maybe could have been able to just walk their way out to safety, however, and sacrifice the Olaf. It's hard to say for certain. But of course, Hayri being there and Suman not does enable this to happen. And then Suman, who has his flash the entire time, kind of lets them continue to come forwards and then put down this hurt. Keeps them keen, and then suddenly the kills are possible.
Very hard to outrun them, and that was even without Swiper's ultimate being used, but regardless of that, will show the punishment potential. Says you don't leave this pick available, and Harry, every single time, has been taken on down here.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind, Human, when it comes to the raw mechanical ability to play this Akali, looking for those solo kills. He's kept Hayri down without a doubt. Only the one mistake that you could really critique him for so far, which was just that little play in bot lane. Not flashing a little bit earlier, but straight back onto the horse, straight back onto those kills is bot lane.
That's the attention once again. Quaku does not have a flash, does not have the invulnerability, because he is going to fall on down. R2 is not even a possibility. Swiper doing his job fantastically there. Disengaging, drawing the attention, and waiting for the cavalry to arrive.
And it's good to see Only getting fed again, working with Ayla, playing exactly how both of these champions should be played. He's going to be snowballing incredibly hard, going for the Rod of Ages build as well here on his Nidalee.
Yep.
So the damage that he's doing is going to be insane once that is purchased, and he is so far ahead. Dark Seal at 7 stacks. He's snowballing to a very fast Rod of Ages purchase, so this Nidalee is going to be obnoxious. The Kled's still in an okay position overall, especially if you're comparing top laners, right? It's a 0-3 or now Quaker, who's been targeted so heavily. The only concern that is really there is the mid laner of Gravitas, and the bottom lane is still decently strong.
Certainly is. But we highlight him. Last minute flash, clutch heal as well. Dark Seal empowering that majorly. Now goes the Magical Journeys. They're just trying to disengage. Once again, Quaker leaves the line, but finds himself in a situation where he has no team around him to back him up. Order having a cohesiveness as a full 5-man squad backing each other up. So successful in their attempt as well there, Rusty.
Yeah, Quaker goes down once again. Herald going to be on the cards here for them straight afterwards after they disengage. Very easy stuff here from Order overall. Just being grouped, getting the jump on their opponents first every single time. Looking again, Ayla will have to be careful, so they'll get the objective with no contest. Still definitely in the driver's seat here, Skimmy. There's just, some points of defiance that at any moment could just spontaneously explode in this game.
Definitely is. It's a different style here for Only on his Nidalee, running the Conqueror this time as opposed to the Electrocute we saw in the past, a much more support-oriented style that time. As he were to run the Ephemes into the Zonias, this time looking for a bit more sustained shred.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty smart build. It is kind of 50-50 on if you go for the Conqueror or the Electrocute, but if you look at why he's gone for the Rod of Ages build, so he has got more staying power for DPS that he can put down, and Conqueror gets obviously more value the longer you're trading. He's also against an Olaf and a couple of melee tanks that will be walking towards him, so he does get that opportunity more as human. Having another crack.
As soon as he shows up to lane, he says, "You're dead again," has to burn Flash, has to burn Protobat, has to pretty much use everything in his kit just to survive. He showed up, as soon as he did, he's gone again.
Yep. Good morning, welcome to lane, goodbye. We've got Herald that'll be summoned in mid lane here as well straight away. No turret plates, Skibby, so the turret will just drop. Order will trade the objective for what is just a health junk on Hayri, because he does manage to survive, so still absolutely in control, building up to about 3,000 now.
It is indeed. This one obviously going to be a far more useful Herald, and that's successful in its attempts to take down the turret. The one prior was to really try and force a fight around that bottom player, which ended up paying in their way. Cosmic Binding does land, and they find a kill target onto Suman. Now going to look to try and disengage away. He does have that flash. It's going to come up in only, say, 5 seconds now. The Tether goes out, only finds the first kill. And that's going to be Quaku falling on down again. Ragnarok soon to inspire. Probert goes on now. Max Range on the grip. He finds it. Can they get a kill as a result? Max Range once again there. Now stealing away the Akali ultimate. He wants to find somebody low. There's 2 of them at this stage, but they are far too protected by the tier 2 turret in the base itself.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the one that we should look towards if they were going to continue the dive with that perfect execution, but Hayri just disengages. He'll walk towards top lane, get some damage down onto that top lane outer turret, and maybe take it down instead. They continue to push forwards and grow the momentum, and it's a Bard stun that kicks it off this time. Ayla's still quietly having a blinder. I'm going to say stepping up to the plate, hitting those stuns. Assuming he's back at it again.
He's running a 1v4. Mendes does not care. Quaker going to join into this fight as well. Doesn't have the ultimate, but going to still look for a headbutt instead. Going to go on to Swiper. Now going to get the disman out, but the Tether connects. Predator's going to be denied a ton of damage. But Simeon finds that first kill. Nidalee trades. Dragon goes in favor of Order. Now 2-1 in that exchange. But now Magical Journey, there's a ton of mobility, and it seems that cats are better than dogs as they're going to chase over this one, prowl around, find kills, and do damage from afar. 2 fights on 2 separate occasions. A triple kill because Conqueror, he is conquering.
They've just aced. What are they doing? That's my analysis of that. What are they doing? Ayla's playing out of his mind. Subit just tries to take a 1v4 or a 1v5 even. It has a Yuumi on his back, and then just walks into the portal and gets Bard stunned, and then Yuumi has to sacrifice herself to keep Suman alive so he can trade. This so far, you're like, okay, this is fine. He's done a lot of good health. They can kill Swiper, maybe they get only and disengage, and then it's a fight on so many different fronts that, like, it just becomes power inting. It was good until it was horrible, Skibby, and this was horrible for Gravitas as they just get aced.
Certainly did. Nothing going their way. Very uncharacteristic for them this week. Has definitely been one for them to forget. As Order continue to showcase their strength. Now 10 stacks and a Magi is purchased here for the Nidalee. 8-1. He is playing out of his mind, Big Geordie.
Yeah, definitely. Now he's got the Magi. He's ready to stack that one up, right? One more snowball team fight and he'll be well in his 20s. With those stacks, extra damage output. Ayla also now going to find himself 1-0-11 after that fight, hitting all the stuns left, right, and center. And we can talk about what the things that Gravitas were doing wrong there. We also have to acknowledge how well Order have been playing, and their day-to-day turnaround is absolutely night and day.
Those spheres getting pretty hard right there, doing a third of Summon Self-Bar. Doesn't have any magic resist, so to be expected in a way. And those 10 stacks are obviously given even more movement speed, as if he needed it at the stage.
I think every day we could definitely start a narrative at this point of rolling a D20 and seeing what we get for Order. I think they rolled pretty high today.
Certainly seems to be the case, because Harry has definitely not slowed down his aggression despite how Akali has been hot on his heels all game long. He's knowing what his role is in these team fights. Just overwhelm the opposition with pressure and maybe it only just goes to the one shot here. There it is. Why not? Has the flash, feels safe. Final chapter, I'm rooted, I don't care because the turret isn't hitting me. And a Yuumi without a carry is not that scary whatsoever.
Big battle.
He's going to jump into that back line. He's not got the flash, he's got the Protobelt, he's got the max range grip. He's going to use that Akali ultimate, but it gets exhausted, so it does not do full damage. Goes golden. Moonlight Vigil goes on out, but Clayton just gets harassed once again now deep in enemy territory at this stage of the game. But does that phase him? I definitely don't think it does. They don't seem to care, Rusty. Double kills coming on out. They juggle the aggro. You take the aggro, I take the damage. You get the kill. It looks so damn clean. It's another ace. Why wouldn't it be? Triple kills, double kills, everything kill streaks.
They're diving at the inhibitor turret's distance without even taking the turrets prior. The inners are still alive, man. They're just so far ahead at this point. Really hitting it home, just diving until it works. It starts once again. You've got a big spear coming out of Only. Connects on the mark. Very easy to dive here. And because of course, the W has that cooldown reset, he's going to get out of turret range pretty nicely there. Summon already caught. Massive ult coming out of Ayla here to make sure that the engage is well and truly on. And this is where you see the dive coming out of them. You know, Kled hits the R button, dashes forwards, they'll find the mark. And it's just a case of, can we do enough damage to kill them? Gravitas try their best to disengage until Summon says, Beats, you're coming with me. If this ship's sinking, you're going down as well. And then they're just stuck, Gravitas. Even though it's their own base, they're stuck.
This is definitely an angry game, and we've seen Swiper bust out the Alawi, spamming it in solo queue, coming in, and they find revenge, and this time busting out the Kled. We've got a composition here that is proving really, at this stage, to cause Gravitas so many issues. They are unable to recall, they are unable to be protected by all the turrets that favor them. The fact that locked inside their base, Order still disrespecting him. It's pretty insane. 22 minutes into this one as the kills favor them, 19 kills to 6, and a healthy 10k gold separating them.
Oh god, here we go again. Summon, he has got the damage to kill Only for sure, but that heal obviously just proves it's not going to be an easy thing to do. It is not simple. And he's definitely overstaying his welcome here. It's on purpose, for what it's worth, because he does have the hover of Praelis and Beats with that Olaf Yuumi. We'll see how they play this one, because they could look for the kill, but that's easier said than done, to be honest. The game is basically ending in mid lane, and they're wasting time looking for a pick. Trying to get the Magi stacks lower. And they even cancel their recall.
The Baron buff is putting an overtime right now, and they're saying, you're trying to get this Nidalee, you're trying to deny 22 stacks and get a major 1k bounty. We'll just get an inhibitor. What on earth are Gravitas doing at this stage? They're going to get a second inhibitor as well as they go on to Preku now, looking to go 0-8. Not having the best situation here on the Ornn. 4 members collapse, and sweet dreams for him. And only... just straight disrespect. He's just gone 1v3. He doesn't care. Says, look, the rest of my team are
he's going to do it. He's so going to dive too.
The game's going to end 23 minutes in. It's disgusting.
I mean, this is just an absolute shellacking. That wasn't even close. At any point in this game, the one thing that they had was their Akali, and how quickly that has disappeared for them. They're going to go for the kills here on Praelus as well, see if they can take the Yuumi with them, but the game is just over. Skibby, we're just buying time.
25 stacks and the Magi is already going to fall on down. A silver lining, but it won't change the outcome. Ace upon ace, 24 minutes in, Order crush and get a victory.
I mean, we rolled the D20. I think they got about an 18 this time. Skibby, definitely one of the better showings that we've seen come out of the Order boys. Pretty cohesive victory as well. A lot of strength through their bottom lane. Rare actually having a very good week for himself overall. Even yesterday, had a decent showing. Ayla on his Bard, able to work with only and get around the map nice and early, and that was it. Lights out for Gravitas.
I think really we saw from what the level 2 3-minute mark that Order are like, we want to force this fight. We want to make sure that we get big leads achieved very early on. We want to suffer. We want to stranglehold your ability to try and take any control of this game, and they never lost sight of that idea. A very solid performance by them to obviously finish the week 1-1, and we're going to jump to a final break before we jump in to the last game of the week. It's going to be Legacy taking on Direwolves here after the break.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is deadly! He's got it!
Welcome to the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson.
And that's a beautiful hero play, got to multiple members. He gets himself a double kill.
It's Ray's doing what he does, the team fight king.
We love everybody. We love the OPL.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.